Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about my favorite top 10 favorite songs by the Jonas Brothers. So the only other Jonas Brothers video I have on my channel is one of the very first videos I filmed ever. In fact, I think I filmed it before I even had a channel live. Like, it was one that I pre-filmed, and it was me watching some of their old music videos. When I started listening to the Jonas Brothers, I was their target audience. I was preteen to very early teenage years, and I just genuinely really enjoyed their music, and I still enjoy it to this day. I think that they had such solid bops, and considering how long I have known them and have listened to their music, I felt like it was way overdue to make another video about them, and I decided to list my top 10 favorite songs by them. And I do enjoy their newer songs that have come out since they have become a band again, but I will say in this top 10 list, I only have one of their newer songs in the top 10, but everything else is from like the earlier Jonas Brothers time. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. Some of their older songs have just really been a constant for me in my music playlist. I didn't rank them as like what's the best Jonas Brothers song. I'm just gonna list them out by album. I have 3 songs each from 3 different albums plus one newer song. So I'm just gonna do it like that. No particular order. Just know that these are my top 10 most played Jonas Brothers songs. So first we're gonna go with the Jonas Brothers album titled Jonas Brothers, which came out in 2007. 2007. Whew. My 3 songs from this album that I've listened to the most, only one is a single. And the first one I'm going to talk about is When You Look Me in the Eyes. When You Look Me in the Eyes was my first like power ballad. It's my first slow jam song that I loved from the Jonas Brothers. I was so enthralled by it, and I just was like, oh, what a precious tender love song. And I've always enjoyed it, probably more so for the nostalgia aspect of it. But I will say, when I finally saw that song performed live only a couple years ago, the way the way it affected me. I was standing that whole concert and I had to sit down. Like, it was a moment for me. What a cute love song it is. So cute. And then my other 2 songs from this album are just not singles at all. And the first one I think is a song that other Jonas Brothers fans would agree with me in loving it, and that's Inseparable. I have loved Inseparable ever since I first heard it, and I probably listened to that song the most. That's probably in my top 5 most played in like present day time. It's not a very long song, definitely more rock leaning song from the Jonas Brothers. Like, it's a little bit grittier musically than some of their other more, normal pop rock style songs. So for that reason, I think a lot of people maybe forget about it or don't listen to it, but there is a section of Jonas Brothers fans that are just as obsessed with that song as I am. And I think what I loved about it was the fact that it sounded a little bit different. It was a little bit more rock heavy. And that's pretty much the only reason why I love it. And then my 3rd song from the Jonas Brothers album is Take a Breath. Another one that I don't know how other Jonas Brothers fans feel about it, but this one I do really like the lyrics. I think that the context of the song was an excellent reminder for me at that point in my life too, but also it's just a good reminder no matter what age you are. It's a little bit more of a serious song lyrically. It's like serious but hopeful. Once again, musically, kind of like Inseparable. It's slower, but it leans more just pure kind of rock with maybe like the slight pop influence, but it's not like SOS or something like that, where it's definitely more very pop rock. So Take a Breath. Love the meaning of that song. Always have, always will. I think this next album, a little bit longer, was the album that made me realize I was going to be a Joe Bro fan for life, because it was even better than their first album, and I really enjoyed A Little Bit Longer. And the first song, I want to talk about from that is a single, but I think, in my opinion, it is like the single of singles from the Jonas Brothers, and that's Burnin' Up. Burnin' Up is perfect. It's a perfect single. It is so addictive, so catchy. It makes me so happy when I hear it. It always has. And the music video is so fun for Burnin' Up, and I loved it when it was released. I can honestly say that Burnin' Up is one of those songs that, even hearing it performed live, present day, everyone goes crazy for it. How could you not love Burnin' Up? It is such a solid single, and it gets stuck in your head, but not in like a I'm annoyed by it kind of way. It is just addictive and fun, and the lyrics are fun. Oh gosh, it's such a good single. The next song from A Little Bit Longer is without a doubt a very, very loved song amongst all Jonas Brothers fans, I would say. I know I shouldn't say words like all and assume that everyone's on the same page, but I feel like if there was a song that I could say that confidently with, it's this one, and that is Shelf. Shelf. Shelf is a song I have not seen them perform live yet, and I can promise you, if the day ever comes I see the Jonas Brothers perform Shelf, I will lose my freaking mind, because that opening guitar intro and just the guitar hook that is throughout the whole song is the one that's in the intro. It is beyond memorable, and it's just good. It's so good. Shelf. It's the music production of that song and the harmonies between the brothers throughout the verses and choruses. I really love. I love the note choices in that song so much. And I think also it's definitely more of a heartbreak song, but I love that it's a fast-tempoed heartbreak song. The line is so memorable. Don't take my heart and put it on a shelf. It's very memorable, and it's like a perfect formula. The Jonas Brothers are so good at having kind of like rock influence, but pop inspired in the sense that it's so memorable and catchy. I genuinely think Shelf should have been a single. I think that is one mistake they made from A Little Bit Longer, is that Shelf easily could have been a single, and I think it would have done well, not just with the Jonas Brothers fans, but I think it's a song that would have done well publicly and have maybe grown their fan base even more. I think it could have kind of pushed them forward a little bit, because it showed off more musicality, and I loved that. My last one from A Little Bit Longer is also, and I will say, I was so close to putting Love Bug on this list because I think Love Bug is an incredible song, but instead, this song beat it, and that is Pushin Me Away. I don't know what it is about Pushin' Me Away, but it's kind of like Inseparable in my eyes, where it is a very fast, quick tempoed song, a little bit definitely more rock leaning than pop. And I love when the Jonas Brothers lean into rock a bit more. So that's probably why I was so attracted to it from the jump. It's just a song that the music makes me happy, and it's probably because it's more of a rock-driven song by them. So I'm always going to be into that by the Jonas Brothers. Okay, so on A Little Bit Longer, the Jonas Brothers really were into the more pop rock vibe. And then we're moving on to Lines, Vines, and Trying Times, which I think showed a lot of musical growth and maturity from the group, because up until that point, they very much so were just like pop rock, I don't want to say very formula, like it was still good pop rock, but it was very specifically just that. And Lines, Vines, and Trying Times, we have more instruments coming into play. We're switching up the vibes a little bit more. And I'm just seeing a little bit more of a distinct sound. It's kind of like they took what they had at A Little Bit Longer and elevated it a bit more lyrically and musically. So it made it a little bit tricky to only pick three songs from this album that I have loved. I can't deny it. The Jonas Brothers make really good singles, like such good singles. And I have always loved Paranoid by the Jonas Brothers. Paranoid, I think, was such a strong first single for Lions, Vines, and Trying Times because it showed that growth that I was talking about. It showed there was just some more production effects and elements and sounds happening in that song that I hadn't really heard in previous Jonas Brothers music, but it still very much so felt like a Jonas Brothers song. It was just like you could tell they were upping their game a little bit with the music. Even then, lyrically, they were upping their game with the lyrics too. I just think it has a very cool overall vibe to it. The next song from this album that I knew would be on my list was Much Better because everything I just said for Paranoid, I felt even more so on Much Better because there's a lot of horns in it, which I love. I love that the horns were getting added more in the Jonas Brothers music on this album. Man, this is such a good album. Much Better was so great because of the music production. It really was the music production and the vocal melodies. I really enjoyed what they chose to do on the verses and the choruses. I thought that once again, they were just kind of like pushing themselves a little bit more. I love the music break in the song too. The music bridge, I love how they really just let the horns be very prevalent on the song, combined with the guitars and the really heavy drumming too. I love the drums on Much Better so much. And my last song from Lions, Vines, and Trying Times is one that I don't know if I'll ever get to see this live, sadly, and that is Don't Speak. The overall production of Don't Speak is a bit more whimsical. It opens with strings, amazing. And then we get the band with the drums and the guitar going. It's a different style song vocally. Like the vocal melody for that song is a different approach from what the Jonas Brothers normally would do at that point. I mean, the chorus especially is very different from other Jonas Brothers songs. And I liked that. I loved the change up. It's kind of one of those Jonas Brothers songs that carried me away just with the music, and also the lyrics were important and their vocals were important, but I do think it was one of those songs where they let the music kind of dominate a little bit more, even though the vocals do build as the song goes on and it comes to the climax towards the end. And I think I really appreciated that. It was kind of like the vocals were understated for most of the song, and then it kind of built up to this beautiful ending in conjunction with the music and all of the production choices and instruments and the strings and such. I just find it to be a very beautiful song. And I know I said I was only going to do 10 songs, but from their most recent music, there are two songs that I have been flip-flopping in between, and to this moment while filming I'm still flip-flopping, so I'm just going to quickly mention them both. And the first one is Only Human from Happiness Begins. Only Human does not sound like anything else that is on this list from the Jonas Brothers, but I think that's why I like it. I love that it's got a little bit of a different groove, a different genre vibe going on to it, and it is kind of an left field song for them. Like, it does not match up with what they did previously, but it's so freaking catchy that I listened to it a fair amount. But this next song was not on Happiness Begins. It was just a single they released after that album, and that's What a Man Gotta Do. I think what I love about that song is Joe Jonas sounds awesome on the chorus, and it is a wonderful single because it is very catchy, but it's a little bit different from Sucker. Like, Sucker had old Jonas Brother flair to it, and I think it was a genius single to have as the comeback. But then What a Man Gotta Do and Only Human were showing some different sides of the Jonas Brothers that I think naturally were a result of the time that all three of them had on their own, either with their own solo music or own solo projects. What A Man Gotta Do, I think, was just them having a little bit more fun with feeling like and knowing that they don't have to stay in one particular like pop rock lane. Definitely a radio friendly song. The Jonas Brothers are really good at making catchy songs for radio or public play. They always have been, and I think that both of those songs are really good examples of that, even though they are production-wise a bit unexpected to what you have maybe heard in the past from the Jonas Brothers. So there you go. Those are my most played songs by the Jonas Brothers. Please let me know in the comments what songs you have loved either forever and ever or more presently from the group. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so. And thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it until the very, very end of the video. And until my next one, bye.